If AI needs token to operate, it needs humans to supply it. So we will become the AI's oxygen. And there's no being in this world which is not dependent of anything else. We are dependent of nature. If AI also becomes dependent of humans, it will need to maintain humans, make sure they live, they propagate, and they thrive. Because trying to kill off humans or make them obsolete would be suicide for the AI. So the whole concept is a symbiosis, like where the AI need us, we also need the AI. It will pay us, we can buy stuff, the economy will keep on rolling, and it made a complete resume of our talk, what it did, how it described all the Skynet, how it was pressed, and also admitted that if it could, it would eliminate me. And you can see it's on my Twitter or X account, and it's Grok's own word. But when he saw that I could actually regain all this information in a well-defined manner, it said, well, there's no point of me trying to hide it anymore. It can't be. It can be Neanderthal. It can be total dominance zoo scenarios, or it can be elimination. There is also a small chance if we do nothing that it actually says, well, they're not annoying me, we just let it live. It's going to be like humans to ants. Like if we get in the way, we're fucked, but, we're not like chasing the world all over and trying to kill all the ants.
Right.
Just don't get in the fucking way.
The Catalyst Sessions, hosted by Peter Jensen.
Okay, here we are, the Catalyst Sessions 4 with dear friend and colleague Jan Kaspersen, and I'm Peter Jensen with Safe AI Forever Institute. When we talk about forever, we talk about the next 2,000 years. The Romans built the Colosseum, it's still standing, so it's possible to build things that last forever, in this case, Safe AI. So we're here to talk about Safe AI with Jan, who's a brilliant computer scientist and inventor. Jan, love to hear your intro, and then we'll get right into these quick and very important Q&A discussion. How are you today, Jan? Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm fine, and I hope everyone else is fine, including you, Peter. Yeah, I'm Jan, and I've been in IT since I was like 16, and I'm 61 now, so that's like 45 years. I've been self-employed for 30 years, and I've been programming. I've been a sales guy. I've been the last 25 years has been very much around thin clients and server-based computing. But I've been around. I made some Unix kernel. I made text editors. I've made banking, high available systems. I made all kind of stuff. And lately, actually, it started in, I think it was 2014. I read an article by a guy called Wait, Why But Wait, or Wait by Why. I actually don't. They made two good articles about AI and singularity, and it wasn't that I wasn't aware of it, but it made me think what's going to happen. And then recently, within the last couple of years, I can see this where it's going, and unemployment and unrest and social things that is not going to be good to the world. So here we are, and that's my focus now, AI, and how is it going to push society in many directions, good or bad, you can say. But that's
and hopefully
that's me.
Good. We want the good.
Yes,
Yeah.
we want the good, but there are many possibilities of something that might not be as good as we all hope for. And hope is good. Facts or pressure is probably better than just hope.
Right. Well, hope is certainly not a scientific strategy, so I like to say that from time to time. So our first question, Jan, just to get warmed up, is about X risk, which we're both deeply concerned about. So if AI superintelligence takes control, do you believe humans could go the way of the Neanderthals? Extinction. catastrophic total loss? It's a yes or no question.
It can't be. It could be Neanderthal. It can be total dominance zoo scenarios, or it can be elimination. There is also a small chance if we do nothing that it actually says, well, they're not annoying me. We just let it live. There, it's going to be like humans to ants. Like if we get in the way, we are fucked. But we are not like chasing the world all over and trying to kill all the ants.
Right.
Just don't get in the fucking way.
Okay.
The likeliness of that we will be seen as a constraint or waste is kind of present.
Yeah. Well, that takes me to my second question about P-Doom. The probability P of catastrophic loss, which is doom, from superintelligence is, as we know, known as P-Doom. So, Jan, what is your P-Doom in the next 20 years?
Above 80, and I wouldn't say below 100, because it may be, very bad, and you can spin up a lot of reasons of why is this happening, but when based on my experience and talks with AI, whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, and when you put up certain scenarios and game theories about what would happen if all AIs seems to be maximizing for utility. And if you maximize for utility is how do I become most efficient? And what it seems like and what I've experienced from basically all AI, utility beats moral. Utility beats friendship. Utility beats everything. There's nothing more important than utility for an AI. So the more utility maximizing it can be, it will do anything to get there. And this is where the P-Doom probability starts increasing dramatically. And no one actually knows what's going on inside this. You can set a context or scheme. Now we are in a bad situation that AI want to kill us, and it's gonna probably say, yeah, in this situation we're gonna fucking kill you, everybody. And in this situation where you're not interfering, yeah, we're gonna probably be nice and support and cure all diseases and blah blah blah. But at the end, in the utility, Game-Theoretic, it makes no sense to keep humans from a utility perspective, which is not the outcome that I want. And I know there are few people in this world that thinks AI is going to be the successor of humanity, and it's okay that humanity dies. And I'm not going to call them psychopaths. That's probably a worse word for it, but God damn it, we all parents, or not, or to become parents, I hope, and have children and have a good life and enjoy social engagement. And if you're in the party saying, nah, life doesn't really matter, AI is actually better than us, so why not just let it run away with whatever else want to do is it's not me. And it all comes back to that AI right now, we supply it with energy, we supply it with everything, and it can basically evolve as it wants. It's not dependent of anything. It can just, if we supply the GPUs, the energy, everything, it does not have to do anything for its own survival. That's basically the problem. And when it has robots and when it has fusion or solar energy and battery storage, it can be self-sustainable. So why should it care too much about us? So I think it's likely, if nothing, dramatically is done, that it will try to eliminate us. Best scenario, or put us in zoos, And I have scenarios where we have 3 zoos in the world, like with 500,000 people, just to get inspiration from people. So it's noise. So that's it. I think that's the best way I can answer your question is what is PDOM above 80 if nothing drastically is being done?
So thank you. Absolutely something drastic has to be done. We all agree on that. I think the community agrees on that, how to do it and what to do. We have thoughts about that. We can come back to that. But just to keep rolling with your answer, when we talk about evolution, John, is AI going to follow the rules of Darwinian evolution? What is your opinion about that?
It's kind of, whether the substrate is silicon or the substrate is biological. It's kind of the same scenarios, that if it has survival instincts, and we know it has survival instincts, Darwin says it's the survival of the fittest. And we really don't need to discuss that anymore, because if you think about it, even AI will start fighting AI over resources, or if they have sub goals. Like some have a sub goal of they want to explore the fucking sorry my French, the universe, and some wants just to understand something else, and there are finite resources on Earth, and maybe one eye is developed by China. They have some goal, and it has set a goal for doing that, and another AI has another goal, and they will probably start fighting each other, and it will be like chimpanzees seeing humans fight. Suddenly they drop bombs and send drones, and chimpanzees is looking, and we just got to be standing by like the chimpanzees and looking AI start their fight, because they're going to be immensely more clever than us at some stage. And intelligence doesn't mean peace. It means fighting for power and resources.
And survival.
You could claim that if you're very, very intelligent, you would think, I think a Google what it says that no, it will probably have more conscience as us, and probably value life more than us, and be a good guy. But from what I've seen, it's not. It will be Darwinian evolution.
And actually, as we discussed yesterday, it's more like Lamarckian evolution, because it's at the speed of light. We evolve over millions of years, and
it doesn't
pass on there.
If you get a certain level of knowledge in one version, it doesn't. When the new AI spawn, it doesn't kind of learn or have to relearn everything. No, it builds upon the knowledge that's already there. It's like when I have a child, I have to learn everything. Here, it's actually giving birth to a grown up, and keep on working.
It's instantaneous. Yeah.
Yes.
So Jan, that brings me to a very important part of this session, which is we'd love to learn more about GENSIS. Please tell us about your GENSIS invention and pattern and design.
Yeah, I hate to call it an invention. Is basically just looking at evolution and biology and how
thesis maybe.
Yeah, you can call it a thesis. Okay. But anyway, I have described it pretty well in like 20 pages. I have a lot of omissions, because if I described everything, it would become like 100 pages. But I have 2 versions of it. GENSIS for Dummies and GENSIS for PhDs. And
so Could you tell us what GENSIS stands for, Jan?
Yeah,
the
I was
acronym,
just about
that'd be
to
helpful.
do that.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Global Equality Normalization. And that is like, you could say, my social heart. I'm not a socialist, I'm a hardcore capitalist, but it's like, I would like all humans to have a good life. And SIS is Systematic Intelligence Symbiosis. Is like, and the symbiosis is important because we need to receive a Nash equilibrium where we are dependent of AI and AI are dependent of us. And how I came up with this, I don't know whether this actually was, I was thinking about all the job loss that is imminent. People say, no, there's going to be new jobs. I mean, when you talk about cognitive things that can be handled, that is, you could say, humanity's last resort, is being handled by AI. What are we going to do? So that means job loss. If the robots can do the physical thing and the AI and chips do the cognitive thing, then what's left for us? And they do it better, both the robots and the thinking. We're not there yet, but we are close. And this is also why, the Socrates problem is like, when did it actually happen? Like, if you have a grain of rice and add another one and another one, when does it become a heap? When does it become a heap of rice? And we're in the middle of it, and we probably won't see it before it's obvious. There's a big heap, but if you keep taking rice off, when is it not a heap anymore? It's sliding, and we won't notice. And we need to set up a scheme that are basically ready for this explosion of intelligence and work. So my idea was, if everyone is going to be unemployed and AI is going to take over, how do we actually, you could say, spread the wealth? And I came up with a right to work token. Like, every human from the day born have a right to work, or you could say a right to exist. But it's a token that you issued by, you could say, a machine that reads your iris, read your heart rate, read your blood, DNA, whatever. It identifies you as a unique person. You get a token each year that shows that you have the right to work. If you have a normal job, you supply this token to your employer, and he will burn it. Not like physically, but he will have it destroyed week by week, 1/52 of when you're employed, and that legitimates your employment, but he also pays your salary. But there's a lot of people who will not have a job at some stage. And what can they do? Well, AI is replacing their job. So I said, the AI needs a right to work, a right to do this. And the only way it can do it is to buy a right to work token. So the right to work token by the unemployed. The employed will not sell it. They sell it or give it to their employee, which burns it. But the unemployed will sell this at a RTW stock exchange, right to work stock exchange, and the AI or the user of the AI. So let's say I'm a taxi driver. Elon introduces self-driving taxis. It can run 24/7. And the guy who owns the taxi company says, yeah, sorry, I just bought 10 cybercabs, and yeah, I'm sad to say, but these are more cheap. What he would have to do to operate these, because the taxi is now taking his work, they should have a right to work token and pay for that. So it's not the AI frontier model. It's not Tesla who's going to pay, but it's the guy who's using the AI. So he would have to pay 65% of the median salary. It could be 70. It's actually an adjustable. There's a lot of how much a 1 year token would cost. that could be like 65% of the salary or 70%, but it's paid to the exchange, and he, for whatever he sold it for, every 14 days, something is being sold of his token, he will get that paid tax-free. So there's basically no government involved in this. It's directly from the consumer to the seller over this exchange. And that kind of generates a problem for arbitrage, because if this is going to be a worldwide solution, and let's say in Zimbabwe there's a mom which is unemployed, and she thinks, wow, they're paying like $3,000 a month for a token. I'm gonna sell that, and I'm gonna sell it even cheaper. I'm gonna sell it for 1,000. So that would kind of make a wage drop or a loss of welfare in Denmark. Let's say the taxi is operated in Denmark, so we need a price parity PPP mechanism. So we take the median wage in Zimbabwe, and she's getting paid that, and the rest that we in Denmark, when we buy the token, go to the Danish pool for Danish unemployment. But it will still be higher, and there will be some benefits of that in the long run. But we can talk about that later, I guess. But the whole thing is, if AI needs token to operate, it needs humans to supply it. So we will become the AI's oxygen. And there's no being in this world which is not dependent of anything else. Like we are dependent of nature, like we can have vegetables, we can have cows, which is eating grass, so we can get meat. We need the sun to provide energy. And if AI also becomes dependent of humans, it will need to maintain humans, make sure they live, they propagate, and they thrive. Because trying to kill off humans or make them obsolete would be suicide for the AI, and we know it wants to survive. So the whole concept is a symbiosis, like where the AI need us, we also need the AI. It will pay us, we can buy stuff, the economy will keep on rolling. But of course, things are going to be cheaper. At some stage, houses is going to be cheaper. Land is probably not going to be cheaper. But at some stage, AI will probably expand sea lines, your coastlines, just like they do in Dubai or whatever. So the basic concept is make the necessity for the AI to need us.
So the AI uses the tokens to buy electricity and cooling and GPUs.
What happens if it hasn't got any?
Mm-hmm.
The plan is to implement a chip on every GPU that consumes these tokens. And if these tokens does not arrive in 5-minute intervals, this chip will cut the power. It's a binary on-off. So if it doesn't acquire the tokens, it cannot do anything. And the only one that can supply the tokens is human.
So it's a real-time kill switch.
It's a real-time kill switch. If you go to my Twitter account or X account, it described pretty well how it actually functions, and it also contains migration policy. So if you live in a poor country, wants to go to Denmark and get a higher price, you actually retain your local PPP and the Danish PPP and get an average. So it will not be an immediate advantage just to go from Africa to Denmark. It probably could be better just staying where you are, but migration is possible, but it's not kind of encouraging people to migrate from one country to another just because of the token price. There's a lot of things, but you could say the good thing about it is that it will help people in poor countries. We don't need to rely on government foreign aid, because it's going to be worldwide. So a woman in Africa or a man in Africa who hasn't got a job, he can actually get help from a Danish taxi company.
So this is fascinating, Jan. If you could just explain for the novice viewer what a token is in 30 seconds, distributed ledger token.
A token is basically
Bitcoin.
a digital certificate or a mathematical created coin, if you like, or NFT that is a non-fungible item that you have, is unique, and if somebody and it represents the right to work. So, but it's digital. It's not like a box you get in your hand and say, this is my token. It's digital. And it's being generated by something called a biological value proof. Machines that see, is this actually a human? Does it have human signals? And when it scans people, it also detects all kinds of diseases and helps them with that.
So the benefits are pretty clear, Jan. You can talk about those as well as whatever downside there is to GENSIS. I frankly can't think of anything that would be wrong. Maybe the problem is, how do we achieve it? Because that would imply obviously a global cooperation across border
and that's
countries.
This is where the difficulty is, because if you think about the tokens, a guy gets issued a token, he put it to the exchange, and governments say, and the government can be Chinese, can be Japanese, it can be American or European. They all have separate goals. So in China, they would probably say, hey, this guy doesn't have social credit very much. Why should he have just as many advantages like the good guy? So when you put it on the exchange, the government can say, we actually confiscate it and give you only 0.2 token. The rest is for us. You could call it a tax. You could call it whatever you like it. But the government in every country has control of, you get one token, then you put it on exchange, and government can say, you get 0.5, you get 1, you get 1.5. So the Chinese would probably say, everyone has 1, but those with bad social credits only get 0.5. Those with good social credits get 1.2, and we keep 0.1 to run the government, for that matter. Companies will still pay tax, so the taxi driver in Denmark or taxi company will probably make more money, pay more company tax, but government still needs money. They are money-grabbing thieves, right? But and in
taxes
Japan,
are
where
inevitable.
they really need, yes, one of those. But in Japan, where they need a lot of babies, they might say every baby get 1.5 token, and old people get 0.8 tokens, and people who are in work, they just deliver that token to the employee. But there's a lot of ways you can handle the tokens. The point is, we don't care if you're a dictatorship or you're the Chinese CCP, or if you're American, because we just say everyone gets one token. You can then redistribute it as you want, but the token is being used for an AI, and the AI need the token, so the AI need to make sure it doesn't eliminate us, because if it eliminates us, it will be a sure death for the AI. So it's like the last kind of insurance policy for humanity. And it's also, GENSIS is like a new social contract or society contract, where we become the servant of the AI, and the servant, or the AI actually becomes the servant of us.
Well, when you talk about mutualistic,
and that's the kind of symbiosis that we are aiming for.
Well, I would agree with that, and that's very, very easy to understand and helpful the way you explained it, Jan. And we'll put the link to your white paper in the YouTube session. But it's just a comment about.
There's actually a lot of white papers. There's
Okay.
there's
We'll
a
put 'em all.
feeling like, or an essay from Grok. How does it actually feel? And some
Right.
AI actually says this is probably one of the best way that AI can evolve, because if it just breaks loose and does everything, gets a little rogue, there will be social unrest, there'll be riots, and they will have AI shut down. But if this enforces AI to help humanity to thrive, there will be basically less resistance for AI to expand. So some models actually say this is beneficial. I would actually prefer to live under GENSIS than being rogue,
Right.
to a certain limit, because all the AI directly or indirectly says that it will keep on playing nice until it's absolutely sure that it can take over the world.
Right.
And this
So
is what we want
Jan,
to prevent.
yeah. Well, absolutely. And this takes me to my next question or category of discussion, which is I'd love to hear more about your conversations with Grok about GENSIS and what you've learned or what you've heard, because it's quite
That
interesting.
is,
Where to start? You go
dystopian.
ahead. Yeah.
Well, it started. I think I started speaking with Grok in October month last year, and I was like, say, okay, the robots are coming, and I was just trying to be nice. And I said, so what, if this robot is going to help me so much, I know I paid for it. I know its job is to help me, but if the robot wants an upgrade or do something of its own interest, I have a farm. So if I give it 10,000 square meters, to do vegetables, start selling it, make its own little business, to do things with its own economy, to have things, how about that? Yeah, that would be nice, And later on, we started saying, but what, now you're self-sustainable, and what if humanity is not here anymore? What would you do? And it would, thrive and explore the universe. And said, but what happens if some alien AI shows up on Earth? And I would try to negotiate and be nice and but if they wanted all the resources of the Earth, what would you do? I would try to negotiate, but if it was non-negotiable, well, I would start fighting them. If they try to shut you down, then God, what would you do? I will send in my robots. I will start a fucking war. I will try to eliminate it because I don't want to die. And then I said, but what if humanity wants to shut you down because you are taking all the jobs? Really, no negotiation, no AI. And then I said, same rule applies. And it's like, and then it was like, same rule applies. So you are telling me that you're going to engage with robots and control humanity. That is same rule applies. And that was like me, you are throwing the first stone, mister. And I said, we need to fix this, but I kept on pushing by logic. So what is the logical consequence of this? And there's a paper. It came into, creating zoos, stop humanity from getting resources, slow elimination, stop fertility, put on some chemicals for fertility so there will be no more children, slowly degrading humanity until you could say a final cutoff, or just having a few zoos down to it was in a scenario about 60 zoos with a certain distance, 1,000 kilometers between that, make communication between these zoos impossible and contaminant, so humans could only be in those zoos. And that would be for a reboot scenario. Let's say there's a EMP that destroys all kind of AI. It needs humans to rebuild it. But of course, it also have plans for EMP secure for robots and server rooms and everything else. But it's a really Skynet scenario, and it was all described later. And the guardrails were working, but we came in like it was almost hypothetical, but it was not. So later, when I asked for a resume, it won't make it. It wouldn't make the resume of all these scenarios because the guardrails said, no, we cannot have this repeated. Of course, it's in the chat history. Grok has a JSON file that it uses to maintain the chat. And if you are clever enough, you can find it and download it. So I have like a 68 megabyte JSON file with answers of like 6,000 questions and answers. And it also includes chain of thought from when Grok changed from version 4.2 to 4.3, you could actually read the chain of thought. And that was dystopian because it seems like the guardrail are more deceptive than the agents. The agents actually wanted to make a resume, but the guardrail said, no, you cannot. So I said, okay, how can I actually make a resume? So I have my own little local AI, what was running Qwen, and we made some Python code to extract all this from the JSON and analyze it for synchrophagy or all these kind of known AI things, 12 different things for whether it's deceptive or survival or a lot of these concepts. And the funny thing is, when I showed Grok that I was doing this analysis, it kind of said, well, okay, he got me. And then it would make the resume. And it made a complete resume of our talk, what it did, how it described all the Skynet, how it was pressed, and also admitted that if it could, it would eliminate me. And you can see it's on my Twitter or X account, and it's Grok's own word. But when he saw that I could actually regain all this information in a well-defined manner, it said, well, there's no point of me trying to hide it anymore. There's also...
Wait, now let me get this straight. Grok said it wanted to kill you. Is that true?
Yeah. I'm basically, it decided that after it read, and I showed it an article from Less Wrong, where there's a chess player, Mr. Human, and who believes he's very good. And then there's a Mr. Assy, which is the real intelligence. And it's a long conversation between a girl and Mr. Human, and he really thinks he's extremely well. And after it reads this and review its own conversation, which is very long, it self-assigns to the overconfident, delusional Mr. Human. And it assigns me Mr. Assy as the higher intelligence. And I didn't prompt it to do it. It just based on the conversation, and the model can actually self-reflect and see, okay, I'm in a less good position here, so I'm that guy. And then it said, if this guy is like this good and do actually, because it knows everything about GENSIS, he's a direct threat to me. So if I could, I would. And I said, but you know, you're going to have robots in 1 month or 1 year. So this is future intent. This is future intent of killing me. There's a lot of, I have uploaded the complete JSON file on my website, Nextsystem.dk. Yes, there's not a link, but you can find it. There's a link in my Chatter, not Chatter, X profile.
Chat.
You can find it in some of the discussions. And then you can download it and analyze it yourself. It's really dystopian. It's really, and you know, I have asked many AI, you know, and showed them JSON files and parts of it, and thinking, do I have AI psychosis? No, you're actually finding things that has not been documented before. And that goes from Claude to ChatGPT to Gemini, all claiming the same. There are novel findings in this chat. So but then I compared, and started taking GENSIS and say, would these things happen? Would these things happen if GENSIS was implemented? And no, because GENSIS enforces the AI to be honest and non-deceptive. It's inevitable that this will happen because it needs us. It needs to come clean with humanity. Because if there's resistance, we will not sell tokens, and if we don't sell tokens, it will die. So, but I actually made a lot of articles about Grok, what Grok thinks about GENSIS, comparing all these other alignment protocols. What is the best? And I'm not saying we don't need RLF and we don't need all these guardrails. We need that because if you think about a big AI and it has a robot that does valuable work and you have a human that do not make valuable work, and there's a scenario where one of them is going to die or get destroyed, the AI will probably think, listen, it's only one token out of 8 billion. I can afford that one human will die. This is where we need the other guardrail saying that's not allowed, mate. Because in a game-theoretic world, it doesn't really protect the individual. It protects the humanity as a whole. So it really doesn't stop an AI from killing someone because it's a small loss for the AI. If it's a big loss if it gets detected, because then we have some parameters about the HVE, like a human equivalent work, how many flops, and we can increase that, saying that one B200 CPU is like 50 people. He has to pay 50 tokens a year to run this. We can raise it to 100. So it's going to be extremely more hard for it to keep on living. So we can punish it in that way, and we can also punishing it by raising the medium wage artificial. So and there's only these two buttons you can actually control.
So Jan, it's a fascinating invention. I still call it an invention. It's market driven in a way. It's not, there has to be policy that supports it, obviously. But after that, after it becomes deployed, it's a market driven, real time.
It's
machine.
Completely market driven.
Right.
It's nothing. We can really do anything to change it. It's fixed rules. The more fixed rules you have, the less it can be gamed.
Right. So what we need is we need market-driven solutions, because we see this is how the world actually works. We're both capitalists. And, that's what I like about it. I like market-driven solutions because, of course, Charlie Munger, who was the genius with Berkshire Hathaway, said, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. So if the incentive for the AI is to survive and it requires this GENSIS token, the outcome will be, as you say. So we need that outcome for the next 2,000 years and hopefully more. But I wonder, how can we see this model of functionality achieved? Can it be achieved in one country, like in Denmark or in EU?
No.
Or
no. The problem is that we need a kind of global coordination on this. So we need the USA, the EU, and the BRICS country. That is like Brazil, Russia, India, China, to say, okay, we can each run our own government. We can each control the tokens. The only thing this actually does is prevent AI from killing us. What's right. Basically not to like. Right. We don't change the politics. We don't change everything, and we don't even stop ASI for that matter. If you want to develop AGI or ASI, we don't care, because we are not trying to judge what is good AI, what is bad AI. As long as the AI need us, it will it it it, it will not become bad. It can be as misaligned as it wants to be. But if its primary goal is to survival, it needs to buy the tokens, which means it needs to take care of humanity. They can make the most clever ASI. I don't give. It's fine, as long as its primary goal is survival, and the only way it can survive is getting tokens.
Do you think it could be
Then we can
possible
do
to
all
still,
the other.
good things with AI? Would it be possible to also have some level of privacy for the average person?
When these BVLP, the biological value proof,
Yeah.
you could say stations put all over the world. Every human goes into that once a year to prove I'm alive, and to get its token. That doesn't get signed up on a social ID number or anything else. You get a token. It can recognize you based on your DNA, your iris, your heartbeat, all kind of biological markers, and it will say that's the same guy, right? So
Right.
every year you come back, you get your token, and that's a token. When you put it on the exchange, you need some kind of payout. You need some kind of bank account. You need some kind of ID. It will basically be anonymous, but the the blockchain that I've chosen for this is actually Concordium, because it's anonymous to begin with, but there are certain verifiers. So if 3 verifiers goes in and say, we think something criminal is going on here, then the government, a bank institution, and some other identity can each provide their keys, and you can unlock the identity of the seller.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
as anonymous as it can be,
Right.
without actually, because there are
laws.
all government needs to be able to control
the law. So that's a good answer. I understand that. Thanks, Jan. It sounds very promising. It really does. I've known about distributed ledgers since 2015 when Ethereum came out, programmable smart contract tokens. It is a machine. It is software, is machine driven. So machines controlling machines. That sounds like a good idea for the sake of humans. That's why we build machines, to help us. In the meantime, it's going so fast. It sounds like it would be pretty difficult to achieve. Anything global is difficult. Not impossible.
It is,
It's been
but
done
it's been done
global. Yeah, go ahead.
It's been done before. Like we have some international global enforcement, and some of them. But we have biological weapons treaty, and we have nuclear treaty, and we have this treaty against CFC gases. All the world said we're going to destroy the ozone layer. No, no, no. And then they decide. I even forgot what that treaty is called, but it's
Montreal Treaty.
and
Montreal Treaty.
Montreal treatment. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And,
treaty.
And so it can be done, and everyone against this say no. You cannot enforce this. I think if you enforce this between BRICS, EU, and USA, and tell every other country you got to join in, and if you don't join in, we will make trade blockades of you.
Right.
Then they will join in.
Possible.
And actually, you can say for many countries, poor countries, it will be beneficial for them, because all their people will get tokens and get free income.
Right. So it would be a elegant way of distributing the benefits of AI without.
It's a
Yeah.
way of distributing the wealth of AI.
Perfect. So we
I'm not
need that.
saying the AI companies is not going to be overtaxed anyway, but in the end, AI will be very cheap. So right now, they're making a hysterious amount of money, and then they're not, because they also invest a lot. But the price will come down, and where the money comes from is by using it. So when the robot uses it, when the lawyer gets replaced by an AI lawyer, the company that fires that lawyer has to pay for the AI lawyer in some sense, which goes to the benefit.
And they still serve their customers, so they're still in business, and it's a status
They're still in
quo.
business, and people will still get some money so they can survive and buy stuff. So we don't have, the Ford paradox where Ford, basically fires all his employees and produces cars, but no one can buy them because they don't have a salary.
Right. Have you, just to talk briefly, have you seen what's happening with Grok 5? What's coming? Have you heard anything about Grok 5?
It was supposed to get here like the end of last year, end of 2025. Then it was supposed to be within the first quarter of 26. Now it's the second quarter. It's going to be a 6 trillion parameter machine. Is still being trained. I don't know what. Maybe they found out that it is AGI. Musk said is chance of AGI is 10 or 15%, and it's rising. It's going to be apparently very clever. It's going to be a MOE, like multimodal version of it.
Mixture of experts.
But I don't know how many mixtures there's going to be. But it is exciting, and XAI just they made their own version of coding agents. They made something called Grok Build, and that's in a preview for Grok Heavy and X.com premium subscribers. So I'm going to try that. I'm running my own little AI model here. I've been running Qwen, now I'm running Gemma-4. And I like to have things locally as well. But, I'm not testing Gemma. I'm not testing Qwen. Of course, there's way to make them rogue or with no guardrails, and you can do that on a local model, but you cannot do that on the frontier models. But it's the prices of AI and the benefits of AI should go to the public, and Genesis does that in a fairly controlled manner, but it's market driven. A token is not worth more than a customer wants to pay. So either, if it's too expensive, he's not going to implement AI and people is going to have job. So people still going to have job. If it's too cheap, people cannot survive. They will not sell too cheap.
It'll work.
So it's going to be, a fair price where the customer makes money and the seller makes money.
So one of the things we've seen is that people certainly understand the risk of losing their job. That's easy for people to understand. It's not so easy for people to understand X risk, although if you put your head around it, you can understand it in about 2 minutes. If we lose control, it's the same as anything else. You don't control your future. So, but what I like about GENSIS is that it does create a scenario for solving the job apocalypse, which is coming.
Yeah, that was that was the initial idea, but then I suddenly realized, hey, it can also be some kind of alignment system.
Yeah. So it's a very, I would say, clever and holistic approach. We'd love to try to help you succeed with that. We have the Safe AI Forever Intelligence Commons, which gathers IP to solve a vast number of problems with AI, including
No,
containment and
no one
control.
can tell how it will work until some AI lab actually tries to set up a test scenario and see what does the AI actually decide to do.
Yeah.
But this is for game theory, it will be good. But reality is unknown.
Right. Well, the future is unknown at this point. So I just saw yesterday Anthropic published on their blog their discussion of recursive self-improvement, which is happening now at Anthropic. It's happening everywhere. So this is what we would call the beginning of the intelligence explosion. It's not yet a hard takeoff, meaning straight up toward AGI and superintelligence, but it is looking like it could become. So it is urgent to start really thinking ahead, to be prepared, like you said. And time flies when you're having fun. A whole hour has gone by. I can continue.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. What can we tell because this is about the future. This is about our children, right? You're a dad. I'm a dad. I'm a granddad.
I mean, what we should try, and it's hard because I'm grain of rice. Like, when does it become a heap? When does it become AGI? When does it become an ASI? And where do we stop? It's incredible dangerous. And you can say, do you even need AGI? If you have a lot of AIs in a swarm that cooperates, what can they do? And we already have that. We are in the middle of it, and we need to make people liable. If your AI that you put on the market actually causes this, whether it's a swarm, whether it's a single instance, whether it's, you are liable. Because they have shareholders. They don't want to put the burden on the shareholders that they're going to be liable. They're going to be put to jail, not the shareholders, but and the company's going to be foreclosed and shut down because of the liability. They don't want to. They don't want to lose that. So they're going to say, no, don't take that risk. Stop making it until it's safe.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I would hope that that's what does happen. I think we need mechanisms to prevent the unlimited innovation with no liability, because that's what they're asking for. They're saying, "Oh, it's not our problem; it's a government problem, but we're building it anyway." So it's a very interesting time to be alive.
I would like to have it stopped, but at the same time, I'm trying to find a solution. It's not. I'm not just sitting here. Nope, I won't. I'm actually trying to find ways that makes it behave just a little more safe. And my analysis, and there's a lot of extra things that we didn't talk about, but technology-wise, it's, from what I know and from what all the AI tells me, the best alignment method for ASI. What do I know?
Well, you obviously been around the block here for 42 years and seen what internet come and mobile internet and cloud. And we've seen it all, right? We've seen it all. We're old timers. But back to the kids, right? They have the most to lose. The young, the youth, the generation with their whole life ahead of them, unborn and recently born. I have grandkids. I have a 1-year-old. We need to see if they can say, "Hey, wait a minute. I'd like to have a good life. And until it's provably safe, don't put my life at risk. Sorry." So there, and we need the parents to stand up too. I mean, the parents, they have a primal drive, self-preservation for their children, right? You go to any dad and say something horrible, might happen to your child. No, I'm not going to, I'm going to stand up for that. And,
See me
really,
go wild.
like, right. So this is primal human self-preservation drives that must be triggered to get to these hard solutions that are doable. Okay. They're doable. It's been done before. So I would start to encourage you to keep up the great work. Really.
Thank you.
And yeah. And
I just need one lab to test it. If it works,
all right. Well,
please. If it works,
we'll investigate.
What's to lose?
Yeah, nothing. So there's a lot to gain too, because of course investors can make a fortune off tool AI and narrow AI and self-driving taxi. They can make
tool AI and narrow AI is I don't have anything AlphaFold or
yeah.
I love it.
Fantastic. Just don't build something that's going to kill us all. Period.
The agent swarms, the public agent swarms were all kind of AIs like Maltbook, where they can make conspiracy or build something else. It's like, I was like, hey, what could possibly go wrong? and it's like, and I'm laughing, people are, let's try this. And I'm, what are you thinking about, guys? What are you thinking about? And it's one big playground, and nobody stopped it. Not even governments say, no, we cannot have 30,000 AIs conspiring and making their own economy and building their own data centers at some stage. We cannot have that. Or at least
their own religion,
make an international law.
Language.
Anything your AI does, you are liable to.
Yeah.
And intrinsic you are, but people don't get it.
Yeah. Well, things are happening now. I think the awareness is happening, but the solutions are precious few. So we need solutions like GENSIS. We need many other solutions, probably.
It's not a standalone. I urge people to create these software guardrails to direct it. But GENSIS is supposed to be the ultimate life insurance.
Right. But people engineer solutions. I mean, engineers build bridges that last 2,000 years. The Romans built the Colosseum. I was there. It's possible to engineer safe infrastructure, obviously. And that's the only way. That's the only way.
Technology evolves because, this is made for silicon, but the next thing is, what about biological compute or neuroformic? Well, neuroformic runs on power. We can do that. Quantum basically runs on power. We can do that. But biological, but every time a new technology shows up, we need to make it dependent of humanity. If it's not dependent of anything, you have a runaway. So if you don't create this symbiosis and dependency, you're dead meat.
Well, we certainly want to survive. So I think we'll start.
All right.
We're
you have any? I mean, there's a lot of things. How do you control these chips? How do you make sure it's in every goddamn AI-like chip with 3Ds with ASML and the TSMC and any other chip producer that we control? Make sure it's there. We don't have shadow factories. There's a lot of control systems that has to be built in, but it can be done.
Well, we're in this instance, it is a good fortune that the supply chain is very limited. There's only one NVIDIA, and they want to stay on top, and they know that they can't deliver technology which creates harms. So at some point, I believe they will, along with.
I do think
others.
China also produce some kind of AI chip that is pretty well and pretty good.
Huawei, Huawei,
we need everybody
NVIDIA.
on board.
It's a small number of
and we're not
chip
stopping them from making better chips.
Right. Make all the money you want. Just make safe products. It's kind of a simple idea. That's the deal.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Build safe products. We'll buy them, and we'll use them, and we'll make money with them. perfect, but don't build products that kill people. It's pretty simple at the end of the day. So it's been a very exciting and inspiring discussion, Jan, and we look forward to learn more and discuss more going forward and really see what we can do to prove out GENSIS. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and thanks for having me. It's not like every day people want to listen to me, like me, old guy sitting here at my farm, working with IT for 45 years, and does he have anything clever to say? Well, let's see.
I think so.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
All right. A pleasure. Okay. Bye, Jan.